And good morning. It is Thursday, October 10th, just after 10 a.m. And we are chatting with the candidates. We've been doing this all last week as well as this week, chatting with all of the candidates for Newport City Council at large, all the different ward races, as well as Newport School Committee candidates. All of the interviews, as we do them, we are publishing them a bit on our website. You can visit whatsupnoop.com, where we have a story following every interview to kind of give you a recap of what was discussed over the 30 minutes. We publish them as podcasts. And of course, you can watch the interview on our website or on any of our social media channels. A couple of reminders, October 16th, next Wednesday is the first day for early voting. And November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th is the general election. If you are a voter in Newport, I strongly encourage you to go to vote.ri.gov and check out your sample ballot. There you'll be able to see where all the candidates are on the ballot, as well as look at the other races and look at the bond question, and hopefully be a little bit more of an informed voter before you go into the booth. Today, and we'll see if I can do this right for the entire 30 minutes, we are chatting with Charlie Holder, who is a candidate for Newport City Council at Large. He currently serves as your second ward councilor. Charlie, it's been one of the trickiest things of me giving you a new seat and a new table over the last month.
Well, hopefully it'll get easier for sure.
Why don't we start there? Why don't we start with the decision to go from second ward to at large?
Yeah, perfect. So I've been the second ward council person for the last 2 terms. It's been such a great experience. I've enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. It's been a nice separation from my work life to doing the political life. It's been great. But the decision to go at large really comes on the fact that I've talked to so many people around town, and and it's mostly like, oh, I really wish I could vote for you, but I don't live in the second ward. I'm in the first ward or the third ward, and I get a lot of because of I work downtown, obviously in the hospitality industry. I get a lot of people that have a lot of questions concerning all of Newport, and so I figured, what, I've been lucky enough to serve 2 terms for the second ward. So I'm like, what, let's give it a shot. Let's go at large, see how it goes. And so far, I would say it's been overly more positive for sure. I've gotten a lot of great support, and trying to get out there and talk to some people and see what I can do to help and hopefully continue another term.
Excellent. And before we move forward, let's take a step back even further. For those who somehow are just getting to know Charlie Holder, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and give us some background on yourself for those who might not know who you are?
Sure. Yeah. So again, Charlie Holder. I am currently the director of operations at Gardner House, which is a new hotel, event space, and restaurant down on Lee's Wharf. If you're not familiar with Lee's Wharf, it's next to the Reef, which is the old pier, and Brown and Howard Wharf. So it's right off Thames Street. Born in Newport, Rhode Island. I actually will be 55 the day after the election. So hopefully I'll be celebrating a birthday and a seat on the council if I'm lucky. Went to Rogers High School. Grew up in the second ward my whole life. Bliss Road, corner of Bliss and Fenner. My mom still lives there, and I've been getting more involved in the city aspect. Do some charity work. I've been involved with Newport Recreation Department, MLK Center. Just try to put myself out there where people need help and need support. Been in the restaurant business my entire life, and it's been wonderful, to be honest with you. So I'm very happy where things are going, and I am looking forward to this upcoming election.
Yeah, and how's the campaign been since I guess you re-announced that you're running for re-election in June? What has the last couple of months been like?
Yeah, so it's funny because this is actually my really first legit campaign, I would say. And I say that because my first time running, which was 2019 or 2020, I should say, was everything was Zoom because of COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it was, it was hard to go door to door. People were kind of trying to figure out, distancing and who can you talk to. You can't. It was hard to get groups together, things like that. So that was an interesting time. And then last election 2 years ago, I ran unopposed. So that was great. Unfortunately, it's not the case this time, which is fine as well. But so this time, it's full on everything. There's nothing holding me back, from getting out there and talk to people, getting groups together, and it's kind of like a old school campaign. So so far it's been going well.
Yeah, good. I'm probably going to get heck from the other 6 current counselors, but I want to talk about your approach to how you do business on council, because I think it's different. Watching every meeting, workshop, I just think, you're kind of the quiet man on the council, and when you speak, I think people might lean in a little bit more because they don't hear from you all that often. And I might be wrong there, but I'm just wondering if you could speak about how you handle business on the council.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take that as a compliment, Ryan. So
it was meant to be.
It's like the old E.F. Hutton commercials.
It was meant to be a compliment.
Yeah.
Where on the opposite side, there are some people
for sure
who just talk to talk. Yeah.
Yeah, I well, going back in my professional career, in the hospitality, especially when you're managing people, I've managed, anywhere from 30 to 175 people, staff. So when you're dealing with that many things, and now I'm trying to manage 25,000 people, you have to listen. That's the first thing. I've been taught that. I kind of was raised on that, and it's been very important that you have to get ideas, you have to get people's opinions, you have to listen to what's out there, and then form your thoughts, form your opinions on that. Get as much information as possible. You find out quickly, and the more you talk, the less you can listen. If you know what I mean. So I think it's important that I do take in as much information as possible before I opine on certain things. Some people appreciate that, and I'm sure there's some people that would like to see me more vocal because that's what they kind of assume the council position is. It's like, no, you should be speaking for us, and I do when the time is right, and I do speak, and when I do come up with my opinions, my thoughts, people should know that they are well thought out, and and they're not just, I'm not just speaking off the top of my head. I'm actually like coming back with with facts and true thoughts on things.
Yeah, I mean, representing Second Ward now, and potentially representing at large in the future. How do you hear from all sides, and then how do you personally hear from all sides, and then go and represent all of those opinions that you hear on the council?
Well, so mostly from the public, I get whether phone calls, emails. Those are the most way I hear from people.
People chasing you down on the street.
Yeah, I do get, obviously at work, I get a lot of things, or if if I'm going out to dinner or what have you, people, I always try to be available anyway. And I do have people that will come up to me and, hey, can I ask you a question on this? I'm like, absolutely, anytime, and that's an expectation I have. And I actually appreciate, I encourage people to come talk to me. I would love to see more people getting involved and question things that are going on, and ask questions and try to get more information on what's happening in the city of Newport, as opposed to finding out after the fact. And they're like, well, why did you vote on this? Why is this way? I'm like, well, this happened a year ago, I tried to be, and when there are things come up, I try to reach out to the sources to find out, again, get as much information as I can on certain issues. So when I do get a question from somebody, one of my residents or constituents, I have that information. And if I don't, I'll tell them. I'm like, let me find out, and I'll get right back to you, and the best I can.
Excellent. Charlie, I'm wondering, looking back over the last 2 years, anything that you were proud of or excited about or happy to get done or opportunities missed? Kind of recap the last 2 years of what you think you guys did right and what you all did might have missed.
Yeah, I think there's really not one or two things that I think that really stand out. This current council, I think from the get-go, it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air with some new faces on the council, with Zai, with Mark, to get some new perspective, new ideas, and we really started off strong, and we got a lot of things done, especially at a time. We're dealing with, we had to hire a new city manager. We have a new finance director now. And then just right before that, we new fire chief, new police chief, a lot of new department heads. And that's been great because you get, again, new ideas, new opinions. One of the things I'm actually most proud of, and this may seem strange for some people, is the fact that just recently with the new sewer rate, I guess I'll call it a debacle, that we found out quickly that we made a mistake and we corrected it. And I think that's a very important aspect for people to know, because there are times that we make a wrong decision. It might, I don't want to say it was a bad decision. It was just at that time it was wrong, but we took the steps to correct it as fast as we can, and we'll actually be coming out very soon with the new bills coming out for September. People will see that they will be getting money back and getting refunded for that new rate increase. But it's things like that. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I shouldn't speak for other councilors, but we always try to I try to do the best we can and make the right decisions. Again, trying to get as much information as possible. And so we do make that decisions. It's for the betterment of the entire city.
And that is by far the fastest I've ever seen government work, was the sewer tax debacle, just between the workshop and the first reading, the second reading, and turnaround. And I just want to go back to that for 1 second, because, I think when something like that happens, people try to put blame somewhere. And I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. I'm just, from my opinion, watching it all happen. You mentioned all the changes in the city and staff and city manager and finance. And from the outside looking in, it honestly looks like it was just it just got mixed up and confused in government.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it.
You certainly can.
Yeah, that was every part. And again, what I want people to understand, the intention when we voted, this was back in May. We had 2 meetings in May to pass this. The intention was to put more onus on property owners that weren't here year round, and take some of the pressure off the full-time residents. That was what the plan was. And then, there was a change in the program and system that we used on the billing, and that was an issue in how we actually read the actual sewer and water rate. So it was just kind of like a perfect storm of things that kind of blended together, and this is what came out. But again, I think more importantly is the fact that it was recognized. We listened to the residents and their their thoughts and complaints on it, and we acted as quickly and swiftly as possible and made what I think is the best decision for that outcome. And then we'll go forward and see how we can correct that and improve what we really wanted to do in the first place. There's still work that we still need work to be done on the sewers. Don't get me wrong. This isn't just the end of it. There's still more information that will come out. But also, again, it's great that we reacted quickly. One thing that I wish would happen more often is when we do make some decisions on things, that they happen quicker, so we can see see the outcomes in it on a lot of things. It just seems a lot of times in city government, it takes too long for things to get accomplished. And I would love to see that. That was when we started this council. When we came up with our goals, that was one of the things I wanted to see is like, hey, let's get more things done as a council. Let's not put everything on the administration all the time. Let's make decisions ourselves so we can get the ball rolling and try to make changes as positive as possible.
Charlie, before we look forward to maybe what some of the priorities are that you think for yourself and for the next council, just wondering, this past council seems like what they've really been trying to tackle and the short-term rentals, the affordable housing, all the definitions that go with affordable housing, parking, really been putting residents' issues, as well as almost every single conversation revolves around infrastructure and a potential $500 million in infrastructure needs. It seems like there's been we need to go to tourists for that money, just coming from the tourism industry. I'm just wondering, your thoughts on all of those topics that have been going around at the same time of residents, but also taxing tourists and in the infrastructure bubble that is around the city.
Yeah. No, I'm lucky enough to be, I think, probably the only counselor that really deals with this on a day-to-day basis. So I do have that perspective of seeing all sides, really. On the trying to get more revenue. Obviously, the tourism. Apple's the lowest hanging fruit from the tree, and I'm well aware of that. And I actually agree that there is a good chunk of money we can get from that industry for sure. On the resident side, there has to be a balance between what we do in tourism industry, because that's what's driving Newport right now, and how it affects residents. You have to have both. You can't have one and not the other. That's just the way Newport has been set up for a long time. And the best way, instead of trying to fight each other on it, I think trying to work together is the best way possible, to go forward to get the best outcomes. Obviously, Newport's an extremely old city, so there is a lot of infrastructure issues that we deal with. A lot of it, I think we are where we are now. We're facing this, and I'll talk about the bond. Question number 6, the $98.5 million bond that we have in front of us, which deals with a lot of infrastructure, which deals with a lot of issues that we have, because we've kind of gotten built up so fast, and we've really been trying to catch up for many years. I don't want to put it in the hands of any particular people or any past counselors or administration or things like that. It's just been something that's happened so fast that the city has not reacted quick enough to get ahead of it. And there's multiple reasons for that. As far as housing goes, again, I know. I live it every day. I have staff that has trouble finding housing. I have people that drive in from, other cities and towns as far away as, Providence, Fall River, New Bedford, to come to work down in Newport, because, it's in this industry, Newport is high up there. You make really good money, in the tourism, restaurant, hospitality industry for sure. But it's difficult because the housing issues are real. Unfortunately, and I know in this time of an election, most people that are running are going to tell you, yes, we're going to fix the housing. When it's not that simple. It's not a flip of a switch. We do have short-term rentals that are issues, and we've been working on those. We banned them in residential areas. They're still allowed in business areas, but those are businesses. And for some people that want to say, hey, if we ban them in the business district, that'll open up housing for workforce and for affordability. And the reality is that's really not the case, because those houses aren't going to go, those aren't going to be $1,200, $1,500 a month apartments, or $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 houses. We're talking $3,500, $4,000 a month apartments. We're talking $2, $3, $4 million houses. So the information really should be much more realistic to what is really being put out there. That being said, there are still things we can do. We're working on the Coxwell School project still. Again, something that it takes forever, it seems like, to get done. And even if we do come to agreement with the developer for that project, we're still a couple of years away from people being able to move in. We have the land that we're going to hopefully get from the state for the Newport Bridge realignment project. That's 5+ years down the road before something happens with that. You have the Carpianato Newport Grand land that's been sitting there, and that's probably 10+ years before something happens there. So there's unfortunately there's a lot of everything that we can do to fix some of these issues are not something that are going to happen overnight. And we'll work with the planning department. We're working with zoning on trying to figure out, with what we have currently, how can we help out the residents, and we're going to still keep working on it. Again, I wish I had a golden egg that says, hey, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fix it. And then by, 2025, everyone's going to have, the ability to find a affordable house or affordable apartment. But as of right now, unfortunately, that's not the case. But it doesn't mean we're not going to stop working and trying to make that happen.
What are some of the things you hope to accomplish as a city councilor at large, and as a council, if reelected for 2 years?
Really to try to continue to improve the city. Obviously, again, infrastructure is huge. Depending on what happens with the vote on this bond coming up, again, question number 6, $98.5 million bond. Depending on what happens with that, will really kind of showcase what we're going to be able to do. I, for one, am for the bond, and I encourage people to vote for it as well. That being said, as a city, we have a little over 3 weeks to really get more information out there to the residents and to the voters, so they have more information so they can make a well-informed decision. This hasn't been put out, I don't think the best way it could have been. There's still a lot of questions out there, and I get that, but there are 3 or 4 items on that bond that I think we really need to focus on. And without the passing of this bond, we're gonna miss out on an opportunity there. Easton's Beach, Priority Park, the Kings Park seawall, Rogers landfill. I think those are like the top 4 that I see on that list that are extremely important for the well-being of Newport and our immediate future. But again, without this bond passing, then it's going to be difficult to get those taken care of.
And I want to let people know that they can go to City of Newport's website, cityofnewport.com, where you can read more about the bond. I do want to point out that while the $98.5 million is set in stone, all of the numbers that you see assigned to each total, if something comes under budget, sometimes does happen, it could be moved around to another project that is in need. And also want to point out that if somehow everything comes under budget and you don't need to spend all the money, then you don't have to take all the money. You don't have to finance all the money. One last thing, I have Newport City Manager Colin Kennedy joining me next Wednesday, October 16th at 10 a.m., and we're going to spend 30 minutes on the bonds. So if anybody wants to tune in for that, you can find it on our website next week as well. So we're trying to get the word out, trying to inform people.
Yeah, and I know the city's going to do a big push to get the word out between mailings and things on the website, and just trying to get more information out there. But again, a lot of residents, sometimes you have to do your own homework and find out what needs to be done and what you think is important. I know one of the questions is how it's going to affect, our taxes. And yes, taxes will go up a little bit. But that being said, with Newport, as some people think, we have high taxes. We're actually like the 7th lowest in the state still out of 39 municipalities. So we're still doing really well on that financial aspect of it. So, I think, again, the passing of this bond will have a little increase in your tax, but not enough where it's going to, blow us out of the water and put us right to the top of the highest paid in the state. So.
And the way I understand it is if it failed and you still have to do all that work, your taxes would go up a whole heck of a lot more.
For sure. Taxes will go up a lot more. And then, we have the opportunity on some of these issues to get matching monies back as well. The Priority Park, for instance, getting that bulkhead done and the renovation of the park. A lot of that money is going to come from the increased revenue we're going to get from the cruise ship passengers coming in. Same Cliff Walk repair. We're getting some matching funds for that as well. So it's not all coming out of our own pocket. So,
Charlie, was there any topics or issues that we haven't brought up yet that you wanted to bring up?
Unfortunately, Ryan, in the half hour, it goes by really quick. We could sit here for half the day, I'm sure. What I'm hoping is to see a really good turnout for the election. I think this is a very important election for the city of Newport. For the council, I think there's some really great candidates that are putting their name out there. But again, I hope we see a good turnout. The public has to know that you have the opportunity to affect change. If you don't like the way things have been going, you have this opportunity to make changes. If you do like it, we can keep things going as well. I think this current council that we have has been strong. But it's been 2 years, and now it's time to see what else we can do. Really put our foot down and say, hey, this is what we need to fix. We're all on board together, because we have to communicate better. We have to show a little bit more transparency with the residents and really work together as a council, as opposed to trying to outmaneuver each other. And I think we've done a pretty good job at working together. So again, I'm looking forward to this election. I hope what I've shown in my last 2 terms gives people confidence that I can help and that they can come to me for any questions and answers, and I'll be there for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you considering as a voter when voting for city councilors, or what do you think people should be considering when choosing? I guess they don't choose 7, but when they choose 5, because they're voting for a ward and 4 at large. What do you think people should be considering?
Well, it's not one of those things where it's all for one. Depending on what part of the city you live in, depending on what your political thoughts are, obviously you play into a role of who you want to choose for. I'm a non-affiliated politician, if you will. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I deal with people and deal with the issues at hand and find out the best solutions to them. That's what I do. I'm not one side or the other. There are some, good points that are maybe on the left side and some good points on the right side. And I think we have to, get the best of both worlds, which is great that, the Newport City Council is, it's a nonpartisan group. But, again, everyone has it. And that's one reason why I decided to run at large, is because there are such different factions of people out there, whether you live in the North End or you live, downtown, or you just moved here a year ago, you've been here for generations. Everyone has their own issues and their own thoughts and concerns. And, I think I fit that bill better than most people that are running for city council this time around, because I've been here for so long, because I'm involved in so many different aspects of the city. And, and this is kind of like my background I come from is managing people, managing situations, and, realizing that every day is different and you have to be able to adjust and move on the fly.
And Charlie, your website is, let's see if I can make technology work here, votecharlieholder.com.
Yep.
Votecharlieholder.com. If people want to reach out, ask you questions, or get in touch with you about anything that you said today. And anything else on the website, or people reaching out to you?
Again, I can be reached cell phone through call or text at 401-480-9079. Or you can go, reach me through my website. My email is cmholder69@gmail. You can reach me that way, or you can come down to the Gardner House and see me while I'm working. I do have 2 events coming up. I will plug real quick. Tonight at O'Brien's from 6 to 9, I have my first of a series called Chat with Charlie. It's inviting people to come down, come see me, come meet me if you haven't met me before, or come just talk to me. I'm there to ask questions or to answer questions and try to give as much information as I can. So that's tonight at O'Brien's from 6 to 9. And then on Saturday at the Broadway Street Fair, I'll be at Fifth Element from 1 to 4 out in the parking lot, kind of doing the same thing. So come down. I'm not asking for, this is not a fundraiser. If you want to donate, I'd be more than happy to accept that. But these are just really informative get-together. So come down, meet me, hang out with some really nice people, and try to get some information on the upcoming election.
Excellent. And in closing, just remind people one more time why they should put a check mark next to your name when they go to vote.
Because I'm one of you. I'm a Newporter. I'm really a down-to-earth person. I have no aspirations, political aspirations outside of Newport. I'm a business owner. I have a family here in town, and I'm trying to do the best I can. And, I want people to experience Newport the way I did, growing up, and that was just a great experience, a great time, and it's a beautiful city. I want people to see that, to live that, and to feel like and also to feel like they have a say in what goes on. I make my decisions on information I get from the residents, and try to make the best decisions possible for them, first and foremost.
Excellent. Well, Charlie, we wish you the very best of luck. Thank you for all the time you have served, and thank you for running again. I've been telling all the candidates that as it's not easy and it takes a lot of time. So appreciate all that you do. Yeah,
and Ryan, I want to say the same to you. I appreciate the time and energy you put in, and getting all finding the time to get all the candidates on it is great. So I know it takes a lot, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk to your viewers and your listeners, and thank you so much.
All right, excellent. And we will talk council business leading up to the next election. Let's set up a time for that when the next agenda comes up. So
next should be up next Wednesday. So
all right, Charlie, thank you very much. That is Charlie Holder, and he is running. He is an incumbent. He is currently your second ward councilor if you are in the second ward of Newport, and he's running for at-large. So he will be on your ballot as an at-large candidate, Charlie Holder. And if you missed any portion of this, by the way, votecharlieholder.com for more information, or if you want to get in touch with Charlie as well. If you missed any portion of this conversation, want to watch it again, want to share it, want to compare, contrast the candidates, again, we are chatting with all but one. We are almost done. We have 2 more city council candidates, but all of them have been uploaded on whatsupnuke.com. You can listen to them, read about them, watch them, and you can share them with your friends as well. All available on whatsupnuke.com. A reminder again, early voting starts on Wednesday, October 16th. The general election is on Tuesday, November 5th. Visit vote.ri.gov to check out your sample ballot, read more about the bond, see all of the great people you are going to be choosing from. And you can do that at vote.ri.gov. Thanks for watching.